Hi. They say content is king, but for those of us in the industry, content is kingdom. Everything has a story. All our lives, everything you come across has a story. But then there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story. Today we are going to be telling you a lot of stories, most of which are real life stories. Stories about content distribution, content production, content creation. And with me in the studio is someone I'm sure you'll be so glad to meet. She has done a whole lot of things. And she's right here with me in the studio. When we go on a quick break and return, I'm going to be introducing this delectable actress, TV host, and content distributor, locally and internationally. In fact, she has a lot of money. All right, my name is Kamos, and I know some of you out there call me your sugar daddy. It's fine. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, Late Night Conversations continues. Hi, welcome back. It's still Late Night Conversations with Kamos, and it is on this show we give you the biggest, fattest meat when it comes to the grass to grace stories of our stars, our celebrities, our home names, household names when it comes to entertainment industry across all the sectors. Today on this episode, I have an interesting guest with me, like I mentioned, and she is into a lot of things. So today we had to host her to shed light on content creation and all that goes into it, telling our original stories. So right here on this show, we are going to be dishing out some of those important points for people in the industry. I want to hope that you are sitting right back there, tuned in, staying focused. You can get your notepads and make notes. All right. So today's episode, I have with me, she's an actress, she's a filmmaker, she's a distributor, and she has traveled far and wide on top content distribution. Now, as she dey travel, she dey make a lot of money. When you see her, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Lady Phina.
Kamos, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. But when you say I do a lot of things, I'm
Guys,
wondering,
please
I'm not jack of all trades.
Check, but just know that she's out of the market. I'm sorry to break your heart. She's out of the market.
You can
just
say that
just
again.
check. You see what I see, eh? I know you envy me because I'm the one seated here.
Kamos.
It's all good. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Same here.
It's after I see you.
Of course. Kamos, it's the first time I'm actually seeing you this year. Happy New Year.
That's true.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
That's true. Happy New Year. Good to see you.
I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, and I want to hope that this new year, you are going to make more money than you made last year.
Plenty of it too.
And then,
Olua.
And then, let's see a small alerts.
No.
Even if it's the tithe on top of the money.
No, you're not God. I will definitely give my tithe to God.
Yeah, you give to your tithe. I said just
I'll buy you lunch.
Guinea. No, lunch.
At least.
No, lunch did not help anyone. No, lunch did not help anyone. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
Same so we're looking at you've been into content creation, production, and I know you've produced movies.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of distribution businesses. I know, in fact, the point where we got to know each other was distribution.
Yeah,
it was on that part. Distribution where you supplied some content, and of course you've also helped to push out content on our behalf.
Yeah, sure.
In a couple of other platforms.
Of course.
So what is it? What would you say the experience has been like? Generally, your observations and the things you would consider the mistakes you've made in the beginning, and then you've learned from, and it has informed some of the decisions you take when rolling out the kind of content you push out.
Okay, like you said earlier, I do a couple of things. I'm going to just break it down based on what I do.
Yeah.
First, as a content producer, I have my movies on African Magic. Summer Singh, Jerry Khan, they're all showing on African Magic. And for that, starting up as a producer, it wasn't easy because trying to get your crew, get them to put things together in terms of production. It was really being my first time of producing. When I did Summer Scene, being my first time of producing, I had so much stress with trying to get my crew together, as well as trying to get the cast that will suit the role I want them to, play. Because most times you get script and you're in your mind, you're asking yourself, who would do this well, who would do justice well. Exactly, because that's where everything boils down to. Some people go wrong with casting, and they do it because of sentiment, probably because you're my brother. I want to make you popular, and I give you roles that you couldn't carry. At the end of the day, the output won't come out well. So in terms of casting, I had a bit of challenges trying to get cast that would suit the roles that I needed them to play. Even though I still made some mistakes in the casting of my first movie. Of course, I won't mention who I think but at the same time, I looked at some other people that I think would have probably done better, than the people I did. Then in terms of distribution, coming up as a distributor in this country, my company, Pew Concept and Pew Pictures Limited, we are into distribution. So initially, I didn't join, I realized that they have this group of people that are into exhibition. Exhibition are distribution companies that are more into cinema releases and all that. I didn't know they have a group, But we distributors, we started off as agents. Okay. I just come tell you, let me take the stress off you and help you go to platforms.
One of our Igbo brothers called Osahia.
So initially we started off as agents, where we say, okay, Kemos, give me your movie. Let me save you the stress of going to these platforms to sell. Let me go there, look for the market for you. And if I'm able to sell, I take 10% of the proceeds. So as at that time, you have people who will give you content, and since there's no proper documentation of you're giving me exclusive distribution rights, the producer might end up giving to 1,000 people. And you go to that platform and they say, no, somebody else has brought this content there. It's challenging to me because I just feel like, you gave me content now, allow me to still help you sell, but over time, I started building my company and I got to that point properly. Yes, I moved from the point of being an agent to being a distributor proper, where I got my company registered, with CAC.
Now, some of those things that you experience, those experiences you pick up in the course of trying to find a balance.
Okay.
I want to believe, or I suspect, that they must definitely have some impact on the distribution you do. For instance, you are picking the right cast for your movie.
That's enabled me.
Yes. When you now come to distribution, the movies with the wrong cast or with the wrong interpretation of roles, do they have less sales or less opportunities to be sold than the ones that
actually when it comes to distribution, a lot of platforms, they have different things they look out for. Some of them want to see good interpretation. Of course, generally everybody wants to see good interpretation of roles.
Some people want to also see only face.
Of course, face is paramount. Like, it's very important, because they tell you these faces, as popular as they are, help us sell. People want to see movies that have So, but content that does not, if you have good faces, and probably those faces did not interpret it well, because they already have good fan base, people might not look at might not look at some of the things they are doing as being wrong. So somehow it flows, like you're able to sell such content, even if the role was not properly interpreted. But so long as the person is a popular face, the fans just follow them. You know how fans do now. Sometimes they just follow, and all that. But it's still, if you have a movie that has good interpretation of roles, it becomes more catchy, like
easier to sell.
And easier to sell, because such content, you don't have to beg anybody. They see that the stories is on point, the cast role, the interpretation of roles were on point, cinematography on point. Such content, it is the platform that will be saying, yes, we want it.
Wow. So that means the whole sales, the chances for sales for any movie you are trying to distribute would have to start from the point where you're making the decisions
of production.
Exactly. So, and then while you're doing that decision, we're taking that decision of production, we want to look at some of the things to consider.
Okay.
Like in simple bullet points, things you would tell someone like me who is a novice to consider when making my selections and things to watch out in terms of the story, the cast. Is there a particular story that actually sells more than the others?
The thing is, it's just that our industry is, in fact, these days, just like you have the movie industry, the music industry, way back, people sing songs and you can pick meanings from the song.
Yeah.
Like the likes of African China that said,
exactly.
He sang the song about, But now, everybody just sing bum, 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 and they make so long as the beat is easy to go, everybody just flow. Do you understand? And at the end of the day, there is nothing, you'll be wondering, okay, what will be the meaning of this song now?
Yes.
Like you can't place your hand. Why? Because the beat is, and maybe it's from the artist they like and everything just goes. In our movie industry today, because they feel, okay, some kind of stories, people buy into some kind of stories, this glamour kind of thing, let's just flaunt houses, sometimes some of the stories, they lose track. But normally, stories that tells our true life, movies that tells our true life stories should be what we should be going for. But somehow, there are some restrictions, as a distributor.
We'll come to those restrictions.
Okay.
So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, in fact, two things. We'll come to the restrictions.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be asking you questions about, there are some movies that I have seen.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I have personal grudges against whoever did those movies. Late Night Conversations will be right back. Phina is still here. Don't go anywhere. Right back after this break. Hi, welcome. It's still Late Night Conversations with Kamos, and I still have with me Lady Phina, the content distributor, producer, content creator, presenter, CEO. All right, so you were just telling me something about the restrictions that you have, some of the things that are determinants of the kind of content that are eligible for distribution. What are those restrictions?
The thing is, when I talked about restrictions, I was driving at the fact that, okay, my experience in distribution, there are some platforms you approach and you tell them, you give them content.
Yes.
And when you go back and they tell you this content are not approved, the reason you see the reasons, of course, they will tell you why.
Yes.
And some of them will tell you, we don't buy political stories, we don't buy incest. It's not like incest is good. Nobody is saying incest. Nobody is saying incest is good. But somebody somewhere is going through that kind of situation. Yeah. And if we don't tell the story, how are we going to know that somebody somewhere is experiencing such thing? Yes. So as much as this thing is
these are some of the social vices we see in the society that we have to tell.
If we don't tell our true stories, who will tell them for us? They'll tell you, we don't buy incest, we don't buy, political stories, we don't buy stories that has to do bisexual. Of course, we know those things in Nigeria, we kick against it. But as much as we do, this is just, the question now is...
Has somebody even ever cared to look at the issues that possibly lead, maybe psychological issues or physiological issues, or even training in a home that possibly makes a child grow into wanting to become the other sex?
But that's where story comes in. Do you get?
Yeah.
The question now is, those movies that depict such storyline, how does it end? It will definitely end in a way where the society will get to find out that, okay, this is bad, or this is what happened to the person at the end of the day. No story or movie will now promote that thing and say, okay, at the end of the movie, you will not see that they kicked against it. No producer will want to do that. They
don't bring that on screen. Is there some sort of law by the guiding bodies against it?
The thing is, I think so, because being it that most of NBC regulates these things. I don't know.
I have I know I have heard something about some restrictions created by APCON. Something like that.
So I think they're actually looking at those things. So that's why when you're a producer and you produce a particular content and you couldn't sell that content, tomorrow if you want to produce again, you will not want to tell story, even if the story is true. I beg, will it sell? It will not sell. I won't tell. Somebody sent me a link for a documentary done during this NSAS, like the person told the story of what happened during NSAS, and I'm like, even if I share this thing now, because I had to ask one or two people, in some of these platforms where I say content, I'm like, I have a documentary on NSAS. So why are we now? Why are we running away from stories? Because when we talk about stories that tells our true life stories, movies that tell our true life stories, producers are being restricted because, of course, you produce content to sell.
What kind of laws or regulations do you think can be stepped down or applied to make some of these roadblocks go away?
Like the thing is, I don't know how they are able to, sit down with these people.
I want to suspect that they reject those stories because they are being flagged by some regulating bodies.
I think so.
So maybe
some of these
anyway, I'm going to be having on one of our episodes someone from APCON. She's going to be sitting here to tell us more about some of these restrictions.
Exactly.
So don't worry, I got you guys. That
will go a long way because sometimes I even get confused.
There's another issue I have with Nigerian film.
Waiting we do you.
We have problems of fuel scarcity. We have problems of governance. We have problems of some kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, everything. We have problems of some other kinds of domestic stories. But I am always seeing, if you watch 10 movies in a day on any movie channel, like 8 of that movie, those set of movies will be doing something that has to do with marry. He married only, if they don't marry, they're always marrying only son. I don't know why. All of them, all the families in Hollywood, they have only son or only daughter.
In the mind of most of these producers, there are a couple of them that I respect so much in the industry that still tell this story, especially those ones that have actually gone beyond Nigeria.
Yeah.
They don't mind, they tell good stories.
Kule
does good stories. Yes. But there are some of these other people who are in the industry just to make money. So in their mind, we just want to shoot content that we can sell. What is sellable? What is it that they like in the industry? Let's just do that one and have our age and stay there.
Yeah.
But people who really want to tell our true life stories, they go out of their way. They don't even care about. There's this popular producer who gave me her content. Her content for me is fantastic. She told the story about slave trade.
Yeah.
She went into details. Told the story about slave trade. That way you'll be able to understand what happened way back, during slave trade. But up till now, I've not been able to sell that content.
What are the excuses that
the feedback I got is they said nudity. They said there's too much shedding of blood. They said the story doesn't suit what they want and all. I'm not like, this story has to tell.
Isn't that why platforms like Netflix
is
doing so well?
Funny enough, I even gave it to a company because my company licenses with other companies abroad, to do deals on Netflix and maybe some of the platforms that we don't have direct access to. And they came back with the same feedback. I'm like,
really?
Is there a carcass in this thing? Like, if there's no if there's none, then I don't see. So, but I was watching a recent movie that was just released.
Yes.
And I saw nudity.
I know the movie you're talking about.
I saw nudity. I said I won't call names, but I saw nudity. I also saw blood. I also saw use of substance.
Yes.
Because it was substance that boy that was very.
Somewhere.
Do you understand? So I even called the man. I called the guy that owns the company I use in the UK. I'm like, have you seen this new series? I saw nudity. So how come? And he was like, my dear, I saw it too, but I'm wondering. But the thing about you, there was something else he said. He said, the world is too hard for us to be doing movies that in the midst of that nudity. I was able to laugh. I was there are some comic scenes. Yes, wait, now let me tell you what he said. Phina, in the midst of that, you were able to laugh, yeah? There were some comic scene. There were some scene that actually calms the tension and all that. But the other one you gave to me, it was all around it was all around an intense, all around intense brutality. All the scenes where, so that one doesn't, that the world is too hard for us not to have a bit of comedy in us. So I'm not wondering, so could it be just the reason why?
We'll come to that. The thing about this content thing and then the businesses that surround it, there's a whole lot that goes into it. And for you to come all the way to this point where you are now, I'm sure that there's a whole lot of experience that you have amassed in your journey to where you currently are right now. Let us go a little bit personal now to touch some of the experiences you have had to deal with, the hardest moments while trying to grow in this business.
In this business of production, producing anything, be it movies, series, documentaries, talk shows, it requires funds.
Yes.
And as much as I know that some people in this industry still have access to these grants, funds from, God knows where, as an independent producer, it's really hard for you to, venture into an industry where funds are needed and you don't have the money. So, starting off, it wasn't easy for me. I had times where...
Was it actually distribution that you wanted to do? Before you
no, I just wanted to go into acting.
Okay.
But I remember those days, way back when I graduated from uni, I went to do my service. When I was done with service in 2008, I ventured into acting, but I was going for audition. All around Sulere, my shoe chop canal. All around Shibiri, go into a Jangbadi.
There's a popular place, Winnie's.
God, me and my friend.
If you're an actor in this industry, and you've not gone to Winnie's, my brother, I never start.
There were times where, and funny enough, in that low moments of your life when you're trying to make it big, you still get people who extort you. Aside the fact that people want to get down, even though I don't want to talk about that because it never happened to me. But you see somebody that will say, "Come and register in my production house, and I'll be giving you movies."
Yes.
Me and my friend, we registered first production house. They gave us a script that they have shot before, and we didn't know. We were reading the script that they were going to shoot the movie. They now call the name and say, "You are the one bearing so person." I now saw plenty scenes of the person. I was excited.
Yes.
Weeks passed, months passed. Director, are we not shooting? He said, "There's no money. We couldn't shoot it." I didn't know it has been shot before.
So you're just rehearsing?
We're just rehearsing for nothing. Why? Because they wanted, that point in time, they wanted you to pay that money you're supposed to pay to register.
Yes.
So we were paying, the other one we paid 5,000 to register, the other one we paid 15,000 to register. None ever featured us in any movie at all. And there were times where there was this particular director that said he was going to shoot. He gave us scripts. He called us to come. He lodged some girls in the hotel. So me and my friend were going and coming because our house wasn't far. Satellite Town wasn't far from Okuku, so it was easy for me to go and come. My brother, they were there. They would tell them, roll camera. They were rolling camera in vain. They know what the director and the crew, especially director PM, all of them, director PM, which other person, they all know. So that period of 4 or 5 days where they claim say they go shoot, they don't pay hotel, so the girls say they fit get, they'll end up sleeping with them and be saying we're shooting, and they'll be rolling camera like this guy is rolling camera in front of me, and nothing is happening. Like they will just mount that camera and they're not recording. It was that bad. So
we'll come back to continue this story.
I just feel like crying right now because it's crazy. I remember those times. It was as if
you will cry now. All right, it's getting hot in here, right? It's still late night conversations, and when we come back, we continue with some of the experiences that Phina has seen in the course of her journey to becoming the Phina, the CEO that we know of today. Late night conversations will be right back. It's Famous, don't go away. Welcome back. It's still late night conversations with Famous, and we've been talking, film distribution, film making, content creation, and some of the important things you need to note when making your movie, just so you can sell, because that is the business part is just paramount, right? And then Phina has been giving us some really nice, important things to note, especially for our filmmakers, our upcoming filmmakers. She talked about you knowing the right cast to use so that they can interpret the roles in your story properly. She talked about production. She also talked about some restrictions that she experiences, so restrictions that she had to learn the hard way, and why she couldn't sell some of the movies that she still has in her collection presently. So moving on, just before we went on break, we had her talk about the experiences as an upcoming actress, and some of the terrible, it's not different from what we have heard from a whole lot of people, and she's here telling us her own story. Now I'll be looking at, also hearing you talk about how you navigated your way through all of these hurdles. You paid money, and then you were shooting movie that was already shot. And then somebody was just collecting, and it's so wicked because these guys are not only exploiting the ladies sexually, they are still collecting their money.
Of course.
And that is like
Register.
the lowest point where you could hit a lady. So, you were telling me how you paid money and everything.
Yeah.
How did you eventually get to the point where you started getting your first role as an actress?
When I realized that we weren't making headway with this whole register, because all the production houses that my friend and I registered with, none of them gave us movie roles, and we hardly see them shoot. We go for auditions, nothing happens, and all that. And at the end of the day, audition, you still see that is man no man. That will still happen at the end of the day, So I just said to myself, you know what? The artistic director that was in one of there was this movie I now ended up doing. They casted me as the princess in Akakabuta Kingdom. The title of the movie is Akakabuta Kingdom. They said it came out, I don't know. I acted as. So while I was in that set, the artistic director and I said, Phina, you can present too. And I'm like, no, I just want to be an actress. I said, but you can present too. There's a platform that wants to, that was in 2012.
Yes.
He took me up, and all of a sudden we landed at Ibaka TV. As at that time, Ibaka TV was just starting. They had basically nothing, So they gave me the role of a presenter. So when they started, I go for red carpet interviews for them. I run the red carpet interviews for them. I do exclusive interviews for them.
For a while.
I worked with Ibaka for close to. Yes, it was from Ibaka I realized I could present. It was from there I started, saying to myself, okay, if acting didn't pay me, let me do presentation, And then I went to School of Presentation Broadcasting, Academy. And over time, I still try to, act. Some people give me roles, and at the end of the day, I do those roles. The movie Asaba production, some of them end up in Alaba International, and all that. So I just said to myself, this is not what I really want to do. It's best I, concentrate on presentation. And that was how I migrated from hosting red carpet for Ibaka TV to a proper TV host. And then I conceived the idea of Spicy with Phina sometime in 2016.
Yeah.
And then Spicy with Phina came up with its own challenges as well, because I came up with an idea. I shared with a friend of mine, Mr. Obi Emelonye, and he was like, okay, you can shoot a pilot edition and see if you can get advert or sponsorship. Yes. My brother, I shot pilot edition. That one has its own. So I saw pilot.
Go into all of that. We'll not leave here today.
So at the end of the day, Aisha went to. He told me to meet one of these popular bands.
Yes.
I went there to present my pilot edition and all that, and my proposal, and they were like, "It's a nice concept, but we have other proposals from popular artists, not even presenters." Music artists. I don't know what their proposal was, but they needed money as well, just the way I need money. So they said they would rather invest in those ones since they are already popular than invest in Phina that is not popular. So I lost that opportunity.
Yes.
and I carried Spicy with Phina. I dumped it somewhere and I continued to work with Ibaka, and I'm trusting God that one day money will
At that
come.
point where they told you that, what did it feel like?
I was broken. Like I was.
As at that time, did you have
broken.
any regular means of income to survive?
Just
to do
Ibaka.
things?
I was working with Ibaka TV at that time, and I was earning salary at the end of the month. You know. So, but I needed to push I was enthusiastic to push my dream. I don't want to work for someone the rest of my life. I want to grow. I want to push my career.
You have bills to pay.
Of course. So at the end, I was broken because I felt like, okay, because you don't.
You were still going for auditions, yeah?
Yeah, of course. But I don't go as frequent as I used to when I didn't have a job. You know, this one now, probably weekends when there's audition is happening one Saturday.
At least there's something to follow.
Because I work in the backup virtually all through the week and all that. So I was broken at that point.
So when was the breaking moment for you?
The breaking moment for me was actually it was Spicy that brought me the broken that broken moment for me. Because Spicy with Phina, even when those people didn't sponsor me, I kept it and I kept working and I was saving up some money to see how I can do exactly until I shot the full season 1 of Spicy with Phina, and it was amazing. If they tell me now that my talk show Spicy will be on Wazobia TV, WAP TV, Ogun State Television, name it.
You know that all these brands you are mentioning, you pay us money before you leave here.
I'm so sorry I'm mentioning them. Okay, I shouldn't have. Anyways, but my talk show is actually showing on TV currently, and I'm so glad because that for me is a win-win for me.
Great.
I've always had the mind to be on TV, but I was thinking
it was just
acting that will do it for me. I was thinking
now, would you say that Spicy with Phina as a TV show doing so well, has it been able to make some sort of positive change to your, how you've been received in the movie sector? Has it been able to, endear you to more producers and more opportunities for acting?
Funny enough, for Spicy, it has not really. It hasn't given me that edge I need, for producers to recognize me and want to, because so far I'm just trying to push my dream. I've not been able to get that massive publicity that I need, to get me out there. But I'm glad that I'm able to touch lives.
Yes.
With Spicy with Phina, we have a lot of people who call us on the phone to share their true life stories with us.
Okay.
We have a lot of people who send us WhatsApp messages to say, this is what I'm going through.
So that sort of brings some level of fulfillment?
Yes, because that's what matters to me. That's what matters to me. I want to be on TV to be able to solve problems.
But you know that fulfillment cannot pay the bills, baby.
Yeah, as much as fulfillment cannot pay the bills, but there's what do they call it?
Sort of like a balance or something?
Yeah, no. There's this thing they said, something in labor. There's dignity in labor. Yes. Now, for now, Spicy may not have been giving me money. In fact, my husband and I are actually spending our money in the production and everything. But we can see the future.
Great.
We can see the future of Spicy because touching lives and affecting them positively is the goal that is actually driving us right now.
Touching lives and affecting them positively. And that is one statement I need you guys to keep in mind. Touching lives, what is that thing that you do that touch the other person's life positively? What is that thing that you do that can be recorded for you as a goal, like a score, a huge score in someone else's life? They say a life that has not influenced another life is not even worth living. What does your life stand for? And that is one thing I'm going to be taking away from, your experience that you have shared and all of that. Now, what is next for you now from Spicy with Phina? I know you have done some movies also, and then I know there is content distribution there, filmmaking, and then the TV hosting. So what is next? What are we expecting?
More of production, because my husband and I agreed that I'm just going to, pen down the acting side of me.
Okay.
He said, Phina, you don't have to act now. you come into acting on the cruise level. I don't forget that word. So
come into acting
on the cruise level, like, you know. But for now, grow your dream.
Yes.
Use it to affect lives like you've always wanted. You want to solve problem. You want to be able to. So acting side of Phina has been, you know, I didn't stop, but I just put it on the pause for now. Then distribution is what pays my, in fact, distribution pay my bills. Yeah, because I do distribution of foreign content into Nigeria.
So you have those international contacts.
Yes.
You know,
I get telenovelas
them.
for some platforms.
Yes.
I get telenovelas for some platforms in Nigeria, and I also look for platforms abroad that we can sell our Nollywood content to.
Who did you inherit this hustling spirit from? Your dad or your mom?
I even shocked. My papa and mama last saw like this. Both of them are hustlers. You know, my father, may his soul rest in peace. He was a retired soldier before he died. So both of them, both of them but really. So I intend to also go to the UK to study, to you know, get more, to study a bit more. I want to do a professional course on trauma, depression, and you know, because a lot of people reach out to Phina and they want Phina to advise them, and sometimes the problem now becomes a bit bigger than Phina. Not because Phina cannot advise, but I want to be able to now give advice on a professional level. So if I'm dealing with someone who is depressed, I'll be able to know the best way to handle that. So I intend to also study, you know, do a course on that, and also a bit, you know, there's this.
For those of us that are out there and we're making films, and we're not wrapping up the show yet. In fact, when we go on a quick break now and return, there is an interesting game we're going to play. We're going to bring one box here, and when we come with that box, we have questions in them.
Wow.
And you're going to pick, it's called random pick. So you pick randomly, you give it to me, I read it out, and then you respond to the questions so that we'll know some of the bad things that you have done in school.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so I was just going to ask that for those of us who are still growing, you know, at the teething stage in the film making industry, what are the key things you would say that we should look out for that would have the chances of either affecting what we produce or kind of enhance the quality of what we produce, and then the business chances as well?
First thing first, as a producer, I think you should look out for your story, because if the story is bad, the entire movie is bad.
Yes.
You know, look out for good stories, you know, good screenplay. Ensure that the scripting is properly done. You know, then look out for your casting. You know, a lot of people cast based on sentiment. You know, I have seen, you know, I have friends who will say, Phina, when you're doing your next movie, cast me. And I'm saying in my head, I'll cast who suits the, you know, even though I'll sit at them, no problem.
Phina, cast me.
No problem. So you look out for your cast, ensure you get good cast that can suit, you know, the roles that you want them to play. Yeah. Don't do sentiment when it comes to, you know, casting. And then look out for cinematography. Your picture quality has to be good. You know, your picture quality has to be good. It would be nice to have this lucky look and feel when you're doing a glamour movie.
But why do we have to put up nice looking environment? You see somebody
tell the story of what you like.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you see some movies when you're
somebody that is looking for a job, an applicant, and you see where he's living.
The thing is, you know this exterior shot that editors use. You want to open to the next scene, you have this exterior shot. Some people just use it randomly because they feel, okay, let's have this lucky look and feel in our movie. But I think whatever you're doing, you should use the right. If you're showing a village, it's not going to be bad if you show the exterior shot of the village. You know. You are just telling us yours village. It doesn't make any sense. But some people just feel, let me just use this like look and feel. If your story migrates from city to village, follow it like that. Both the exterior and the interior. So that's for cinematography, good picture quality, and then locations as well. If you're shooting the role of a rich man, and the rich man, according to the story, the rich man is very, very rich, you should use a good house.
Let's see the rich.
You know, let's see the, you know. And then if you're using an average family, Don't go and start using big houses when the person is just an average family. So you should the location should tally with your script, and the stories. So
Thank
if you're able to do that, you're good to go.
For these important points, and I hope you guys have picked a lot of details from the things that she has been saying. So we're going to be taking a quick break right now. Late Night Conversations will continue with the random pick box. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's been an interesting time with Phina on Late Night Conversations. We've been talking about film distribution, we've been talking about productions, and then we've been talking about her other job, which is TV hosting. And these three has been, an interesting journey for her all through. And the experiences she has shared so far is not different. It's not far from, most of the viral things that we have heard across the social media platforms. Okay. And then she has been able to tell us how she navigated. Everybody has his or her own story. And I don't know what your story is, but there is surely a way for you to navigate through that hurdle and get yourself to that dream that you've long held in your heart. It's still Late Night Conversations. My name is Kamos, and here we are welcoming you to this segment where we are going to put Phina on a hot seat. On a hot seat.
It will burn you.
Yeah, it will not burn you. It will not burn you. So I have the box here, and this box has a lot of shiny. Yeah, there's a name I call the box when we went on break, and it's not good to call that kind of name because you don't know whether my pastor is watching. Because they can tell me now that it's Hellfire Street. All right, so I'm going to have you pick. There are some papers here. So let me shake all those ones. Down. Should come up, so that I don't know. Okay, it's like sunshine shake already. Yes. Before.
Should I take just one?
Yes, one at a time.
One at a time, so it will be more than one.
Before you are doing like 20.
So I should take and give you?
Yes, you give me, and I'll ask you questions. And the questions you don't win anything anyway. But
there should be something to win now.
Even if there's nothing to win, you go home with your microphone. What is the craziest thing you've ever done after getting really drunk? No lie.
You don't want to hear it here.
No lie.
You don't want to hear it here.
It is what I'm thinking that you're thinking. Please don't say it here. Don't say it. Pick another one.
You just reminded me of that.
A small salvation that I'm trying to grow. You want me to backslide now. Don't say it.
Thank you,
What's
Lord.
your favorite holiday movie?
Favorite holiday movie. I don't do.
But I don't know why my mind keeps going to the thing you did when you went drunk.
No.
Please, forgive me. I cannot tell you, but when we finish, I'll still ask her. She will tell me, and I will not tell you.
So you would have known.
Hey.
So
Fifi, baby.
No, I love Nollywood a lot, and I.
But which one did you watch, or is your favorite holiday?
You said recently, or because I know the one I saw in December here.
Tell me that one.
Funke's movie. Battle on Booker Street.
You watched the movie?
I saw it.
Battle on Booker Street. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. I haven't seen the movie, but
there's this. I know it was quite.
I'm just seeing the amount that they've been writing, that they've been making.
But I wonder sometimes, where is that amount? As in, they're making money. I want to be like them when I grow up.
And you put me in that movie so that I will be part of that money. Please pick the next one.
Okay. Let me go down.
If you like, go down. Go up. Anywhere you go, we'll still catch you. Okay, this one says, what is one lesson your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life? This is a good question.
Patience. My job has taught me patience, even in distribution
Nigeria,
too.
patience.
Yes, even in distribution too, because sometimes you submit content and it takes them ages to, get back to you. Producers are on your neck. You keep trying to see how you can keep your cool as well as manage your producers.
And then before when they get back to you, before they even pay.
That one is even worse. Sometimes they will drag you and the money and everything. So most times I try to see how I get agitated at some point, and over time I learned patience. And I'm like, okay,
Let's
fine.
look at the next
it will
question.
definitely pull through last.
I hope this next one you'll not be this lucky. Anyway, this one is not bad. Okay. Wait, Joe. What would you do if you won $1 million right now? I never can say. I might just have it somewhere behind your seat.
I really want to buy equipment for production, so
yes.
I'll invest into equipment.
Phina, you are still thinking hustle. Top $1 million.
$1 million, guy. It's not $1 million naira.
You're still thinking hustle. Can't you think of?
I will first of all buy equipment, complete equipment.
What is the name of that place that Nancy Sime used to go to? Ini and all those people where money oboli, where they used to go and swim swim with that baby tortoise.
I'll first of all buy equipment if money can remain. They said business before pleasure.
Just pick another one. Okay. Now this one you will tell us.
Okay.
What is your top secret? It's a secret, but you tell us today.
Secret. But secret is secret now. If I say that, it's no more secret.
That's why we're asking you now.
Funny enough, I don't even have secrets.
You don't have secret. I know one.
I know one.
Should I say it?
Phina, say it.
I'll say it after the show. The next one.
I'm an open book. I don't have secrets.
But don't worry. By the time you want to contest for president of Nigeria, they will start digging out all your secrets.
Oh boy.
That's how we roll. All right. What is your favorite childhood memory?
When they say, in fact.
Did you ever have a childhood crush that used to dodge and come and call you from backyard?
No. Me, I used to.
Oh, you are the one that used to
eye him. But there's this childhood crush of mine. How? I used to like this guy. Every time I go to church, I want to adjust myself properly, small as I was.
Your eyes before
I should adjust myself. I was not thinking. Most times, if he looks towards my direction, in my head, I would think he was looking at me. When eventually, over the years, I didn't have the mind to talk to him. I was still very young. I went to school. When I went to uni, his friend somehow, then I'd gone to uni. I was in 300 level. My head was already, so I told the friend, do you know that I used to like your friend? And I was like, really? He told the guy, both of them came to Uniben to visit me. I don't like the guy again. Immediately I saw him, the crush died. In fact, the crush had already died.
Last one. We know they know what women want finish.
Yes.
All right. So this one says, what is the last thing you searched for on your phone?
Nothing basically, but I know I go on Instagram every now and then to search for maybe.
So what's the one that you searched for this night just before we started the show?
Nothing.
The things you search on for, is it good things or bad things or
no, of
in
course,
between?
Good things or
good things. There are some bad things that look like good things, depending on how you are searching for it.
No, my mind is pure.
Okay.
I'm a child of God.
All right, it's been an interesting time with our guest, Phina. Phina has been telling us a whole lot of interesting things. And just when she was about to cry, I know I went on break and only me saw her cry. But it's all good. We've been telling you about a whole lot about filmmaking, the important things that you need to note, about some of the things you need to be observant about when you're putting your film together so that your business part of it don't suffer. All right. We have also talked about the distribution part, the things that inhibit some of the sales of the movies that we must have made. Phina has been very, very open, like she said, an open book to tell us all of these things, and I hope you had a lot to take away from today's edition of Late Night Conversations with Kamos. So thank you very much for coming on this show. I need you to just tell those people out there that are watching us your social media handles.
Okay.
Yeah, and anybody that enters your DM, tell me. Let me press their neck. So tell us your social media
on
handles.
Instagram is at Phina Egbuchu.
Yeah.
Same on Facebook at Phina Egbuchu.
At Phina.
Twitter at Phina Egbuchu.
PHINAEGBUCHU. Yeah, that's it.
And that's my signature.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much for coming on the show. We will take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping up. Don't go away, we'll be right back after this break. Hi, and welcome back. It's still Late Night Conversations with Kamos. And then on today's episode that we have had with Phina, talking about entertainment industry, the challenges, the ups and downs when it comes to content production, distribution, and of course the other third thing that she does, which is TV hosting. And she mentioned something quite memorable, and I think that is something you should take away, and that is you have to, in whatever you do, you have to find a way to touch lives and affect them positively. You need to ensure that your life is worth living for the next person around you, and that is the essence of having neighbors. You can always do without your friends and without some relatives, but the neighbors are always there. How do you affect them with the thing you do? Don't think selfishly. So whatever you do, also from what I learned from Phina, is patience. Patience while you navigate through life to get to your desired dream. On this episode, we are wrapping up, and we have to go. Time is already gone, and my producer Sunshine is busy telling me to wrap up, but it's fine. We'll see you again in our next episode, and don't forget to stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram. My name is Kamos_Michael on Instagram, and the next episode, I promise you are going to enjoy the details that we're going to be getting from the guest that will be joining me on this show. It's bye for now. Thank you for joining us.